Hello, Internet, and welcome back to MTG Games. I'm Jose Ryden, and my two co-hosts.
Sith King, sup?
Zero, how you doing?
This news flash, whatever this is.
I guess we can just call it a podcast, really.
This podcast has been brought to you by After Hours Studios. Like our pages if you like. And, well, let's get on with it. Roberto?
Alright. So, actually, I think Oscar should start, because mine kind of ties in later on, so.
Alright, so Oscar?
In news today, gentlemen, we have the Watch Dogs trailer, which was recently dropped by Ubisoft on our laps. Trailer shows off the new engine, looks fantastic. Very excited for this game. It has been confirmed that there will be 8-player multiplayer, which has me quite excited, and the release date has been confirmed as May 27th. Really excited to get that.
In relation to the Ubisoft's new IP, going back to its older one, Assassin's Creed, which has been around for years, they've announced about a week ago that they're having 2 new additions to the franchise. One specifically for next-gen consoles titled AC Unity, which takes place during the French Revolution in France, of course, featuring
the French Revolution in China.
A new character whose name, as far as I can tell, is either Arnaud or Arnaud. I'm not sure which. I have different sources saying different things. Beyond that, it has a new parkour system, a new engine compared to the old engine of AC3 and AC4. And, yeah, a new multiplayer system as well, which completely throws away the old multiplayer system that was, competitive with a little bit of cooperative. From what I can tell, the new multiplayer system is a 4-player free roam experience similar to what they're doing in Watch Dogs. However, we don't have full confirmation on this yet. It's leaked on Twitter, but I'm not sure if they're actually confirming it, so we'll keep our eyes and our ears open for that as well. And the second game that they're releasing is another Assassin's Creed game, but it's specifically for past gen, as in, Xbox 360 and PS3. This game is called Comet, or that's the working title anyway, and will take place in 1758 and stick with the nautical theme from the last 2 games. The main character, who has been confirmed as a Templar, is named Shay, and he is a sailor who, mutinizes his captain. They've also confirmed that you can go to New York as well as in the Caribbean, and they say that characters such as Hatham Kenway and Adewale will make an appearance along with other characters. So, it's definitely interesting. You should, if you have both consoles, past gen and next gen, you should definitely look into getting both games. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have for ACU.
Me.
I understand that Raiden has.
I have other news. People pretty much don't really care about this stuff.
Well, just tell them.
In other news, Transformers: Rise of the Dark Spark game will be coming with 3 different versions of Optimus Prime. 2 of which will be in campaign, and 1 will be the challenge. Challenge for the challenge maps. Was that good enough or something?
Well, I mean, the 3 Optimuses that are going to be featured, the first one for campaign is the Cybertron Optimus from the past Cybertron games, Fall of Cybertron and War for Cybertron. The second Optimus in campaign that'll be featured is the new Optimus from, the new movie coming out, Age of Extinction. And the final Optimus, which they're doing as like a fan service for their challenge map, is the G1 Optimus Prime from, the really old school movies and shit.
Optimus Prime.
Alright.
And that'll be all for game news today, and we shall go for the reviews.
Up next. Alright. Oscar, why don't you go first?
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen.
Spoiler alert.
Alright. I don't know. No. This past week, I had the chance to pick up and play Burial at Sea Episode 2, the DLC, the second story DLC, released for BioShock Infinite, and I had a complete blast with it. This is a spoiler-free review, so don't worry about any crazy spoilers. It does pick up exactly where Burial at Sea Episode 1 left off. Without spoiling too much, you do get to play as Elizabeth, and the story is fantastic from her perspective. You get to see a ton of stuff that you didn't before. Again, without saying too much, the story does tie in back to BioShock Infinite and BioShock 1, putting everything into perspective from Andrew Ryan to the Big Daddies, all the way up to Booker, who is in the game, but not in the way that you would expect. He's not your Elizabeth. It's much more narrative driven than Episode 1, which felt clunky because it just tried to jam as much combat in your face as it could. And the story was an afterthought.
the combat.
Pretty much.
Oh, the combat, man.
A stealth is a major component in this, which I enjoy quite a bit. The new Plasmid and the new Vigor both accommodate this as much as the last Plasmid and Vigor in combat. The new weapon is the crossbow, which has multiple settings, which include noisemakers to distract enemies, poison gas to take them out, and sleeper darts, which take out individual enemies. And it works fantastically well. It still feels a lot more survival horror because the ammo is limited, and again, that's why stealth is going to be your friend here. And again, it affects the story because you're playing as Elizabeth, who has a much, much smaller health bar than Booker and is much weaker, so you have to, curtail to her style of playing.
Everyone get their stealth minds ready. It's time to take out the
Pretty much
cardboard
sounds
box.
like The Last of Us.
Tactical espionage action up in here.
It's time to take out the cardboard box.
Exclamation marks coming out of your head. But yeah, it's in the end, this is probably the last BioShock game, as Ken Levine has closed down Rational Studios and condensed it to a smaller, he said, entrepreneurial endeavor. So they won't be developing many more games, and probably not any more BioShock games. So
They'll probably start like a small independent studio, no longer being like a AAA.
Exactly. They got too big. They got too mainstream. He had to shut it down. But if this is the send-off to the series, I think it's absolutely fantastic. And in the end, it resolves everything. And while it does leave you with your mind broken, that's essentially what a BioShock game is supposed to do at this point. There is a plot twist. It's insane. And again, you just have to play through it. And in the end, it leaves you with a conclusion that you have to think about for like an hour, which I like. But, sometimes I feel like I wish that someone could just sit down and explain it to me.
That's what the internet's for.
But aside from that, yeah. But at the end of the day, it was gorgeous. It was fantastic. It was, and it's what BioShock deserves as a send off. And that's it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
Let's do this.
and other reviews,
Nice.
I guess, reviews. I don't know, whatever.
My dad.
I picked up.
Seth Kane.
Don't worry about
What?
it.
Guys.
We're here, Oscar.
We hear you, Oscar.
Hello? Oh, there you go.
All right.
Sorry.
Alright, that was
God damn.
awkward.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Other reviews for
Did
you.
you guys hear what I was saying?
Yeah. You were like whispering.
Okay.
You were like whispering.
I was just going, right, Dad. That's good. Because it just cut off, I couldn't hear it. There you go.
All right.
Okay.
Now,
for the second section.
Okay, thanks for saying before I got to do an intro. Damn it.
You're
so-
gonna do an intro. You can edit that out.
All right.
We're gonna have 5 minutes of footage at the end of this. We're gonna have a 2-minute podcast, guys.
Next review. All right. Earlier this week, I got to pick up Infamous Second Son. The new PS4 exclusive title, which is it's a really good game, and it holds up to the Infamous,
Name.
series. Yeah.
Monica.
All right. What can I do? All right. So, Delsin Rowe is a conduit, which I mean you can pretty much figure out from the get go.
Small town diligent.
Now in the game they don't really explain what his power is. They kind of just say he's a sponge. On the, I know nobody trusts Wikipedia anymore, but on the Wikipedia for the game, they claim that his power is psychokinetic. So he's basically, he can mimic other powers.
So he is Mega Man.
Sure.
No, he reads minds.
And as you go through the game, you'll encounter other conduits, and if you've seen the trailers, you can get Neon as a power. So, I mean, you can see that he can basically, take other powers and just use them as their own. Now, the story, really good. However, in the beginning, like, for the first half of the story, it feels kind of rushed. But, I mean, once you really get into the big end of the story, it starts getting really intense, especially, the second half of it.
Okay.
What's going on? I have somebody eating.
With the kid.
Oh wait, hold up. I have to be the internet troll asking questions. But Sith King, being someone who hasn't played Infamous 2 and doesn't want it to be spoiled, how does this tie into Cole's story? And why should I play this game?
Alright, if you haven't played Infamous 2, then, I mean, I can't... Alright, so, at the end of Infamous 2, there's this huge event that happens, the Beast...
Which you can't spoil.
Right. Alright, so...
There's actually missions during the game
Right.
that actually explain, or try to explain, the difference of years between Infamous 2 and Infamous Second Son.
Yes.
Certain cutscenes pretty much tell you, like, how many years it's been. And basically, okay, so I don't really want to spoil Infamous or Infamous 2.
Yes.
There are some events.
Alert, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, this is a minor spoiler. There's this big guy in the first Infamous. He's in a cutscene, like in a flashback cutscene type of thing. You don't really see him, and his name is the Beast, and he's this huge hulking conduit dude.
The Beast is coming.
Who's like made of lava and shit.
How does one get
Yes.
that?
So he was pretty much the main drive for everything that happens to Cole in the first game, and in the second game, the Beast is pretty much, at the beginning, you know how some games, like, you fight the final boss, and then, like, at the very beginning of the game, you fight the final boss, and he kicks your ass,
Sorry.
and then all of a sudden you have to be like, I must do all the things so I can defeat him. Yeah, that's pretty much Infamous 2. Yeah. So far, every Infamous game has followed the good ending of the last game. So Infamous 1's good ending leads into Infamous 2. Infamous 2's good ending leads into Infamous Second Son. So, there's that. The only major, like, tie-in, like, where you actually hear from characters related to the
Cold eyes.
I'm not editing those out. I'm not going to edit those out, just so you know. No.
You're not going to edit those out. Just going to put a little thing that says spoiler alert.
I'm going to put, during the animation, I'm going to ask him to put spoiler alert right on your face when you say that.
You're right on my face. I'm going to just be sitting at the corner and my face is going to be a giant thing that says spoiler.
Alright, so... Crap, I lost my train of thought. Second Son. The only missions that really, really have a huge connection to the last games are the infamous Cold Jacket missions, where you, like, it basically, it doesn't tell you what happens to Cole, which it was originally preluded to. It basically, you're helping this one guy who's trying to tell a story about what happened, but you don't really hear what happens after the events of Infamous 2.
Okay.
And in the end, you get to hear from a character on a phone call from who was a huge character in the last two games, which is kind of cool. And then you get Cole's jacket, which is so sexy.
It's so sexy.
Anyway.
It's like for the game.
Yeah. My main complaint with Second Son, it's really short. Everything I like about it, powers are amazing. The new set of powers are really cool, and the way they tie them in is amazing. I'm not going to spoil anything by saying, okay, I'm not gonna spoil all the powers, even though Oscar kind of told one of the other two that haven't been seen. If you've seen trailers, okay, whatever.
There's no point in this review.
Don't worry, I'll edit it out.
Anyway, the graphics on this game. Okay, now the graphics, the people, they look okay. You know, they're not like stunningly lifelike except for in the cutscenes.
Them flashy shit.
The city looks amazing, especially in the moments when it's like raining or where you get to see puddles on the floor. The lighting effects that play off of that and the particle effects in the game are incredible. Yeah. Overall, I'd give it a 8.5 out of 10.
We got to give numbers.
Well, it's our own opinion, so I guess we should.
I'm just doing it.
Burial at Sea episode 2 gets a 9 out of 10.
We just have to cut your thing and put it at the
All
end.
right, so.
Oh, by the way, if you want to play Burial at Sea, it's recommended that you play through Bioshock 1 again because it'll jog your memory.
Even though the
game there's a little thing that's essentially what you call it previously on Bioshock, and it literally has like a little thing.
Right. Well, I mean, if you want to like have a like detailed backstory to Second Son, just if you have both PS4 and PS3, because you're gonna need both if you want to, just download the games. They're not that expensive, and if you have PS Plus, I think they're free.
Or be a smart person and check out our full written reviews at Entity Games.
That too. Anyway, you can just play through the first two games, kind of get the gist of what happened. The stories are really weird, but really cool.
They're fantastic. You kidding me?
Yeah. Well, I know, but Second Son also, it's weird because it's the first game that actually features a legit city.
Yeah.
Whereas Infamous 1 took place in Empire City, which is a mockery of
New York.
And then Infamous 2 took place
Numerae.
in Numerae, which is New Orleans, as Oscar keeps
Yes.
interrupting me in my own review. So yeah, Second Son, pretty good. Check it out.
Go to Entity Games.
All right. Now, before we sign off for our last time, I just want to give you guys a heads up. Our next podcast, I will be talking about Watch Dogs more in depth because, we'll be getting closer and they're going to be probably releasing new news. And I'm also going to be bringing up a new video game that's coming out at the end of this year for next-gen consoles. It's called Alien Isolation.
Zero is
so
unable to
stay tuned for that.
So
I guess we'll catch you all later.
Zero says bye, by the way.
Yeah.
He couldn't come. He's got to eat. Well, not halfway through. It was almost.
Well, he had to mysteriously disappear halfway through. So.
We all have our businesses.
Well, a quarter of the way. Whatever.
King?
You understand, people.
Would you like to say bye?
Well, I guess we'll all catch you, next time. Be sure to check out
Follow
the
us
post
on
on our
Entity
page.
Games on Facebook. It's not that hard to find. Come on.
Yeah. And, if you want to actually see what we post, set it so you get notifications from our page, because we might have an issue.
Make sure you put the notification, you press the tab on the right side above near the banner, and where you can set up your notifications as to receive it every time we post something.
Yeah. I mean, it can get a little annoying, but, better to be informed than out of the loop.
Yeah. Alright. Well, this has been Entity Games and After Hours Studios. From After Hours Studios. And we'll be coming back to you soon or later.
Best exit ever.
Keep in mind, this is our first podcast, and we'll make many more. If you like to comment or like to say something or give advice,
just message the page.
Just message the page.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys want, depending on how many messages we get, we can do like a little Q&A from what you guys send us on our next podcast. If we get 10 more likes in our page, we will actually do a Q&A for you guys. That's not bad. So spread the word, Spread the word and make them like. Yeah. Alrighty. Alrighty. This has been After Hours Studios and Entity Games. And we'll see you later.